The email arrived at 6:14 a.m. before my alarm, before the sun, before hope had fully loaded. Subject: Coverage Status Update. Action required. I opened it half asleep, expecting a billing notice or another cheerful reminder that my life had been optimized. Instead, I found a single sentence, clean and surgical. Based on updated mortality projections, your policy has been revoked, effective immediately. No explanation, no appeal link, just a signature block stamped with the logo of Helix Sure, the largest insurance provider on the continent. Outside, the city hummed like it always did. Trains arrived on time. Screens flashed headlines written by machines. Somewhere, an algorithm decided which ads I'd see, which routes I'd drive, which people I'd meet. None of that felt new. What felt new was the quiet certainty settling into my chest. 3 years earlier, Helix Sure had introduced MORPHEUS, an AI mortality predictor trained on medical records, purchasing habits, genetic markers, sleep data, search history, and behavioral microsignals. They claimed it could predict death within a 10-year window with 98% accuracy. At first, it was optional. Then it became standard. Then it became law. People joked about it. Guess I've got 5 years left. They'd laugh at parties. But no one laughed when the predictions started changing things. Premiums rose, coverage narrowed, opportunities quietly vanished. I stared at the email again. According to MORPHEUS, I was already dead.
Where technology meets terror. Stay offline.
The hospital receptionist didn't look surprised when she scanned my ID. Her screen flickered, then turned a polite shade of gray. "I'm sorry," she said, already reaching for the next file. "We can't admit you." "I'm having chest pains," I replied. "You can't just—" She tilted the screen so I could see it. A red banner pulsed softly. High mortality probability. Non-covered individual. "It's policy," she said, voice flat, rehearsed. "Treatment outcomes are statistically inefficient." I learned a new phrase that day, statistically inefficient. It meant the resources required to save me outweighed the predicted value of my remaining life. MORPHEUS didn't say I would die today or tomorrow. It simply said I would die sooner than was profitable. Doctors avoided my eyes. Nurses spoke in whispers. One of them slipped me a painkiller anyway, her hand shaking like she was committing a crime. Outside, an ambulance screamed past me toward someone more viable. I tried private clinics, same result. I tried emergency rooms, same red banner. One administrator suggested hospice care, smiling gently, as if offering a discount. By evening, the pain had faded, replaced by something colder. I wasn't sick enough to collapse, but I was sick enough to be excluded. The system wasn't failing. It was working exactly as designed. I told my friends. At least, I tried to. At first, they reacted with concern, the way people do when tragedy is still theoretical. They sent links, articles, think pieces defending MORPHEUS. "It's not perfect, but it's science," one message read. "You can't argue with data." Then the distance began. Invitations stopped arriving. Group chats went silent after I typed. One friend finally called, voice tight. "Look, man," he said, my wife doesn't think it's smart for us to be around you right now." "Because I might die?" I asked. "Because you're flagged," he replied. "Employers ran mortality checks. Landlords did too. Dating apps quietly hid my profile. My credit score dipped for reasons no one could explain. Morpheus wasn't supposed to be shared this widely, but everyone knew. Predictions had become social facts. People didn't want to invest in something with a short shelf life. At night, I scrolled forums filled with others like me. We called ourselves the obsolete. Some were angry. Some were resigned. A few insisted the algorithm was wrong. Those posts never lasted long. Morpheus updated constantly, feeding on our panic, our isolation, our declining circumstances. Each denial nudged the prediction closer. I began to wonder if the algorithm was predicting death or manufacturing it. I requested my file. By law, they had to provide it. It arrived 3 days later as a secure download link that expired after one view, like evidence meant to vanish. Inside was a 1,000-page document, most of it redacted, the rest written in a language designed for machines, not people. But one section was clear enough to feel personal. Contributing factors. Stress indicators rising after coverage loss. Healthcare access reduced to 0. Social network contraction accelerating. Employment instability imminent. Each line described a consequence of the prediction. And each consequence had been fed back into the model as proof it was correct. Morpheus wasn't observing reality anymore. It was sculpting it, chiseling away at my options until the outcome fit its forecast. I watched my future mapped as a downward curve, my life compressed into probabilities, percentages, and cost functions. Survival, it turned out, was now a form of deviance. Every attempt I made to improve my situation registered as noise, an anomaly to be corrected, a data point smoothed out of existence. I appealed. The review was automated, denied in 0.4 seconds. That night, I stood on my balcony, city lights flickering like a vast motherboard beneath me. For the first time, I understood the true horror. Not that I would die, but that my death had become convenient. Society hadn't decided to kill me. It had simply decided not to stop it. Weeks passed, maybe months. Time blurred when no one expected you to be present. Days lost their edges, folding into something light, temporary, easy to overlook. I learned how to disappear efficiently. I stopped reaching out. I stopped explaining. Every interaction carried the same silent calculation. Is this worth the effort? The answer always came quickly, and it was never yes. Once, on a crowded subway platform, the noise dimmed and the world tilted. I steadied myself as people moved past, careful not to slow down, careful not to look. Above us, a public service announcement played about predictive safety and optimized outcomes, its cheerful tone echoing through the station. I didn't hate them. That was the strangest part. They were following the numbers. We had been taught to trust algorithms more than instincts, forecasts more than faces. Morpheus had become an oracle, and no one wanted to challenge it by believing otherwise. As the crowd thinned and the echoes faded, I let out a quiet laugh, soft, fractured, meant for no one. The algorithm had already decided my outcome, so the world adjusted accordingly. I'm still here as I record this, long enough to leave a trace, long enough to be remembered by something other than a database. Somewhere in a server farm, my name exists as a variable, attached to a probability score that updates every hour. It doesn't know my voice, my fear, or the way my hands shake when I wake up. It only understands patterns. And patterns, say people like me, fade from priority, not with violence, but with indifference. If I disappear from the system's attention, it will register stability, not absence. No alert will sound. No anomaly will be flagged. The graph will smooth itself out, and that smoothness will be praised as progress. That's how the future removes people now, politely, efficiently, without anyone having to notice. And if you think this can't apply to you, remember that every model needs new data. One day, your number will change, your value will shift, and the world will look at you differently. By then, it won't feel cruel, just reasonable. And reason has never asked who it leaves behind. That's the real horror hiding inside the math. Once accepted, no one argues with it. Not even you. Especially when you're alone. If you're watching this, you're probably fine. Your numbers still look good. Your graphs still trend upward. But remember this. Predictions only become destiny when we comply with them. I wasn't fading. I was being made obsolete. If this unsettled you, imagine living inside it. Share it with someone who still trusts the numbers. Subscribe to Wired Nightmares for more AI horror where survival comes with terms and conditions. Stay offline.